Hi, all you beautiful souls out there. I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to Meryl's Mystic. I'm Meryl, and we're doing a new moon reading today for our new moon in Aquarius on Monday the 4th. So if you've been watching my videos for a little while, you probably noticed my format has gone back to what I was doing before. That's not on purpose. I think I left my little tripod with my mic at my boyfriend's house, so the show must go on though. So we're just gonna use the iPad today, and I'm more done up than usual because after this I get to go to the Denver Art Museum with the beautiful ladies of the Bad Kitty Salon to see the Dior show. The Christian Dior show has been in town, and I'm so excited because one of my aunts told me that Christian Dior used tarot cards in a lot of his business decisions, and I'm starting to implement that into my business, so I'm really excited to see how he did that. So let's talk about our new moon. So we're now in Aquarius, so our new moon is in Aquarius, and we talked a little bit about Aquarius last time. I mean, there's a reason that there is a song about Aquarians in general. They are the oldest air sign, so they tend to be the most emotionally most emotionally evolved air sign. But it does take some work sometimes from them. And they tend to seem aloof because they are purposely protecting those emotions in their heart. And they also tend to be great mirrors for everybody around them without even knowing or trying to be that. And so I know, I mean, when I think of Aquarius, significant people pop up in my brain. So I know that if you're not an Aquarius, you definitely know an Aquarius. There's definitely an Aquarius in your life who has made an impact, and they're very unassuming. So I feel like their impact is very subtle, but memorable. I was just thinking about, my brother was a Gemini, so there are two sides of him, and both of his best friends are Aquarians, and they're very different, but they are very similar also. And it was just funny that the two sides of him kind of needed these two equally important but different aspects of himself in these other souls that were close to him. So in that, especially with them being cerebral signs but in touch with their emotions and being good mirrors for each other, I feel like this new moon is definitely going to be forcing us to really look at ourselves, really look in the mirror, and to take responsibility, more or less, for things that we don't like. Or yeah, I've definitely felt that energy, especially coming off of that eclipse. That eclipse was crazy. I was like, oh, I got this. And then a couple days later, I was like, I don't got this. I feel like a crazy person. I don't feel like myself. I don't feel well. And instead of doing what most humans do, and we look outside of ourselves for what could be affecting me, I really had to say, what am I doing? Before I look at anything else that could be affecting me, am I doing everything for myself that I could be doing to feel well? And I wasn't. So that's a great thing to keep in mind. And this is all, that's what all this energy is really pushing us to do, is to really look at ourselves in order to be the most us, the most you that you can be. So it's not easy, but it's essential, and it will be for good reason. So you just gotta lean in. So in that sense, it will be essential for us to all get grounded and to find a better head and heart connection, because I feel like we constantly are talking about our head and heart battling. I know I'm guilty of it, where it just feels like our head's telling us one thing and our heart's telling us another. And they probably are. Your heart space, your heart chakra is very much your soul center. This is where, the real essence of you exists. And then our brain can be very representative of our ego, and our ego just wants to protect us and make sure that we are aware of things and thinking about all the things that we should be thinking of. So this energy is really urging us to figure out how to find that inner peace between the two. I think that's what really inner peace is kind of about, is about getting the war that's possibly waging between the two to find some sort of agreement. Come to some sort of peace treaty. You need a peace treaty between your head and your heart. You have to understand that they're both equally important. They just have different jobs, but they can definitely work together. And that's for sure what this energy is about. So let's get right into it. So first off, I like to pull a card to see what is the essential energy that we should be tapping into for this new moon. And our friend, the Ace of Wands in reverse, this keeps coming up. And before, when the Ace of Wands in reverse came up, it really was about, trying to not let our light get dimmed. This is, our Ace of Wands is our little spark, the spark of new passion, of new ideas, the re-spark of you, of your essence. And when it's this time, though, with this Aquarius energy, it almost feels like it's wanting us to retract a little bit. It's wanting us to retract kind of from the outside world so that we can really connect with it. So we can really connect with what is going on in here. While I was shuffling also, when I was meditating, thinking of this energy, the Emperor in reverse popped out, and I was like, oh, I'm not ready for you. Put that back in. But it's very much in line with this message, because the Emperor, he's the Aries card. He's the father figure of he's the king of the major arcana. And when he's in reverse, he's reminding us to take a step back a little bit, protect ourselves a little bit. So this is not so much like before. It was, okay, you're dimming your spark, and then we kind of found our spark, and now, okay, so it's yours. It's your spark. You need to tend to your little fire and build that, really tend to your spark and give it fuel so that you can really build your fire. Because if it's not strong enough yet, if it's not burning enough yet for you, it's just like filling your cup. If you're not filling your cup first, you are giving with a drained cup. So if you're already trying to give that, you found that spark, so you're so excited, and then you start already showing it a little too much or giving it away too much, you're not saving enough you're dimming it again. So it's about figuring out how to first cultivate that for yourself before you're giving it away to other people. I hope that makes sense. Please, if you have questions, let me know. So next, I wanted to know, what does our ego, our brain, headspace, want us to know? And the Queen of Pentacles, which was what we needed to connect with 2 weeks ago, was the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. So still, for some reason, we're still not seeing our own abundance. That's really what this is about. We're not recognizing our abundance. We're not recognizing our possible success. We're not recognizing simple happiness. We're not being as present as we could be. Earth signs are very present in the moment. So, and the Queen of Pentacles is all about your surrounding abundance. And you have to recognize those things. You have to recognize that it is around you all the time. It is there for the taking. And just because it appears like somebody else gets more, that doesn't mean that you get less. We all have to change that mindset, break down these mindsets that society has wanted us to believe that there isn't enough to go around. And there is. There's more than enough to go around for everybody. So that's why we have to recognize our abundance. We have to congratulate others for theirs. Because any negative talk like that, any limiting beliefs is just stifling us. So our ego is agreeing with with 2 weeks ago. Our head is kind of like, hey, did you get that message? Because it's an important one. Because it's all about your mindset too. Your head, this is a huge mindset thing. I know so many people that are working on their money mindset right now because we don't realize the things that we were taught purposefully or not as children about money, how our parents handled it, how those handled it around us. It affects us so deeply. We don't want to, there's all these stipulations and all these things about money that, sorry, I shouldn't be looking at myself. My eyebrow looks dark on the side. So, ADD. So we're really working on this. So when our this is coming up for our head, like this is a mindset that is essential. Not just for you, but for everybody. We all need to do this collectively so that we can collectively get our abundance and see that should be more than enough for everybody to go around. Next is, what is our Heartspace trying to tell us? And this is so interesting. It's the Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords can be a Libra or an Aquarius. This is representative of an air sign. And this is interesting because the air signs are all about your thought. So your heart and your head, they are trying to talk to each other. This is already showing us that they're trying to talk to each other. Our head's trying to get grounded, it's trying to come down, and our heart's trying to say, we need to get a little bit more, we need to have a little bit more connection with our cerebral brain. But also the Queen of Swords, she knows her shit. She's kind of like, her and the King are all knowing. The King is a little bit more flexible, though. He's a little bit more evolved. The Queen, her big difference is that her sword is like ready and straight. Like, I always think of her, she can be a little bit rigid, but it's because she's protecting herself, because she knows what she has is valuable, and she always thinks before she speaks. So that's a huge connection between head and heart is learning which one's talking, learning how to listen to that, and that's all about intuitional connection, and thinking before you speak, and also protecting yourself a little bit. I think the heart needs a little bit of protection. It needs your ego to protect it a little bit right now, especially during this new moon. It's very strong after that eclipse. So it's okay if you don't want to go do that social thing, don't go do it. If it feels like it's going to be draining for you, that's the most important thing here. The draining of the energy. We're all guilty of it. I'm guilty of it. Hi, if you see me on Facebook lately and we've had some really interesting discussions, I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop because I was putting my energy, yes, things that I care about, I'm passionate about, and I want to use my voice for others that can't use theirs. But there's a time and a place. We got to step back. We got to get grounded. We got to make sure we're doing it in the right way. We got to think. We got to step back and think before we speak. We live in a very reactatory society, and we got to try to step back, breathe first, take a deep breath. Okay, awesome. So the last question I have for regular tarot, and then I wanted to pull 2 different oracle cards, is how do we connect the two? How do the two connect? I glanced at this earlier. The Tower. I was wondering when the Tower was going to come up. The Tower came up for me recently, but in reverse, which usually means we're standing in our own way. We're preventing change from happening, because I need to work on my mindsets also. The Tower. Now, the Tower looks scary. It can look scary. Because it looks like they're, having to escape this burning building. I've heard some people say, no, they set the building on fire, and they're like, we're out of here, jumping ship. So I really believe, especially when we're talking about mindsets, that these things are going to be broken down, whether we like it or not. These these lessons that we need to learn about getting connected with ourselves, getting connected with our intuition in order to have better connections in our lives, getting grounded, changing our mindset, becoming co-creators for our lives, and realizing that we have all the power in the world to make things happen the way we want them to. And sometimes it doesn't always go the way you think it will, and there's usually always a reason. So the Tower comes along to say, here's your opportunity to change it. Here's your opportunity to break down some of those old mindsets, old barriers, old ways of doing things, old ways of thinking, old ways of distracting. I realized that I was distracting myself hugely with a lot of things, and when I could have easily been doing things that were beneficial for me. So are you going to take responsibility and change it yourself, or are you going to wait till this lightning strike comes out of nowhere and it will change it for you, and you'll have no choice but to jump ship? So are you going to change ships on your own? Are you going to do the things on your own? Or are you going to wait till something forces you to change? So think about that. Are you just holding tightly to something so badly that needs to be let go? All right. So let's see how we're doing. Let's pull an abundance card first, since I was like, I just feel like we're going to need one of those abundance cards. And sure enough, the Queen of Pentacles showed up again. Ooh, I feel like we've had this one before. Oh, I have pulled this. Okay. You can dance with the illusions of time and space, choosing your steps based upon things and events as they are now. Or you can dance with your dreams, choosing your steps based upon things and events as they will be. And I bet you can guess which steps will perpetuate today's illusions and which ones will change everything. Shall we? It says the universe. The universe wants you to dance with your dreams. So in a practical sense, there, of course, are things that we have to do. We have to pay our bills, our taxes. We have certain responsibilities. But in our overall life, what do we want it to look like? And are we choosing our steps based on things and events as they will be? So do we have a vision? Do you know what you want your life to feel like? And are you making decisions based on that, or are you making decisions based on what you think your life should look like? What society is telling you need to be happy? Are those things really going to make you happy? Or do you need to search around in your dreams a little bit and figure out that it needs to feel a certain way as opposed to looking like what everyone else is doing? So it's a great way to build your abundance awareness, is to recognize those things around you. I've started to do this. Recognize those things around you that make you feel abundant and things that you want to carry into your future. Like really recognizing, like, ooh, man, that one feels really good. I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to write that one down so that I don't forget. I'm going to write it down so I see it every day, because that's the feeling that I want. That's the feeling that you have to cultivate, where there's so many distractions, so when you see those things, grab onto it, remind yourself of it as many times as you can, because that's showing you that it's possible, but you have to actively be a co-creator to keep your little engine going, keep putting coal into the engine. or I'm installing solar panels because we don't need coal energy anymore. So second oracle card. Sorry, I got distracted. I thought there was something else I wanted to say about that. If you're having a hard time recognizing your abundance, I recommend you start with the Grateful game. I love the Grateful game. Sometimes I still have to play the Grateful game when I'm having trouble getting out of the bed in the morning. I'll lay there and say, well, I'm grateful for this bed right now. I'm grateful that there will be food in my fridge when I get upstairs to go to breakfast. I'm grateful that I am awake. I'm grateful that I got sleep last night. Even I try to say thank you as many times as I can, even for the silliest things, the silliest, smallest things that go my way. Oh, thank you that the light was green. Thank you that I found that parking spot. So thank you for showing me that thing that I thought I wanted wasn't for me. Even things that seem like they're disappointing, trying to recognize that there's a reason why that didn't work out, and saying thank you, and saying, I might not know what the reason is right now, but there's a reason and I thank you. That happened to me years ago, right before my brother passed away. I submitted to be a part of a big local burlesque show that they do at the Oriental, which is, they still do it like 3 times a year. It's amazing. It's Carnaval de Sensual at the Oriental. I highly recommend it if you've never been. And one year, the last year they did it as a competition, I won. I was very happy about that. That was one of the best experiences of doing burlesque. So I auditioned I sent an audition tape. First time I ever sent an audition tape. I was pretty nervous anyway. And I didn't get in, which was fine. I didn't get in, cause I submitted, stepping outside of my box was going more traditional, and their show's very outside of the box. And so it just wasn't good for the show. And I was like, okay, like I'm bummed. And, the producer was really sweet when I said, I just want to know what it is, so next time I can change it. And, so a couple months later, like the weekend that show was supposed to be going on, my brother passed away. And that was one of the first things I thought of was, oh my God, there's no way I wouldn't have been able to do the show. That would have been even more disappointing for me. On top of my grief, having to pull out of a show. I've had to pull out of a couple shows before, and I hate it. It's very hard for me. I've probably cried every time I have pulled out of one because I hate not following up when I say I'll do something. But that was months between where I was like, there's this disappointing thing, but there's got to be a reason. And there was a huge reason. There was a huge reason why that was not supposed to happen. And I have no regrets, qualms, or anything about it because there was a reason. So just take that anecdote and hopefully apply it to something else, because there's so many things we're working towards, and yes, we're co-creators, but sometimes you just have to accept fate for what it is. Okay, last card. Ooh, chakra clearing. I don't know if I've pulled this one many times. This is Archangel Metatron. Metatron's cool. I like Metatron because there's nobody can really find the source of when people really started, where he's from, what they started talking about him. I like the archangels because these archangel cards, they're technically non-denominational. There are a lot of religions that claim a lot of archangels, and there's a lot of crossover. Actually, it's very interesting. Metatron also, he is in charge of time and sacred geometry. So see his little sacred geometry up there, and I love his little purple stuff. So Metatron, call upon me to clear and open your chakras using sacred geometric shapes. I didn't even read that before I told you guys that, so I'm pretty impressed that I'm remembering that stuff. Clear your chakras. So this is really good because when I was talking about your heart space, your chakra space, and then your head space and your third eye is here, your all-knowing, and then your crown is that connection. And then your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, and your root chakra, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 5, your throat chakra. Thinking before you speak. So there is this connection here. And your heart chakra is very important. Very important. And so, I mean, and if this is off, then it's very hard for them all to connect to each other, and it's very hard to find your voice. Your root chakra connects with who you are at your core. So there's so much stuff out there about chakras, and there's lots of like guided clearing chakra meditations, and to just get your like chi flowing, it's really cool. And if you ever go to the metaphysical fairs, there is an aura picture company. They're lovely people. I cannot remember the name of the specific company, but they're at the Denver Merchandise Mart's Mind, Body, Spirit Celebration Fair. They do those twice a year. And you can get just your picture, your chakra picture, or your aura picture, which I get all the time. It's really fun. And then for $5 more, you can get this whole printout, and it will actually show you the strength of your chakras. And so a couple times I got the chakra printout, and I was having, I think my root chakra was kind of weak. There was some weakness and some my heart was like taking over, where I was just like letting it do way too much, and I needed to balance these things out. And I did meditations. I focused on, I learned about all the chakras, and like a couple months later, I got the printout again, and they were all balanced, and I was so happy. So especially when we're doing this head and heart connection. So if that's something that interests you, I highly recommend you starting to look into that. So let's see what Metatron's additional message is. Metatron uses sacred geometry shapes to clear and align the chakra energy centers in our bodies. Mentally ask Metatron to open your chakras, and he'll gently send his Metatron cube, the shape pictured in the card, his little cube up there. You only see half of it, which you can see the whole thing. Through the crown chakra at the top of the head. The cube rotates downwards, cleaning psychic toxins from your body and chakras. When your chakras are clear, you'll feel more energized and have increased intuition. And that's the big thing I'm learning too about our connection with each other, is that we are so much energy, and we have so much energy in us, and we don't even realize how we're exchanging it with each other, and how we're accidentally taking it and accidentally putting it on each other, and all these things. And these meditations, these visualizations of clearing your chakras and then protecting your aura can be really powerful, especially if you're a strongly intuitive and empathic person, or if you're trying to build that, because we all have that capability of being greatly intuitive and empathic. And if you're actually working on building that, then really make sure that you're working on your protection also and the clearing, because it's really hard to raise your vibration when you have old energy on you that is keeps trying to bring you down. Working with Archangel Metatron. Metatron's aura is a beautiful violet and sea foam green stripes. The crystal aligned with Metatron's energy is watermelon tourmaline, and also fluorite with a T, not fluoride, like you're brushing your teeth. Fluorite, I'm pretty sure, is the purple and green one, and that would be really good for that too. Cool. I tried really hard not to go to half an hour. We're just under. Keep working, you guys, and please reach out to me for personal readings. I'm still gonna, I was surprised I didn't hear from a lot of people for January's deal, so check out on my social media page the New Year deals. I will still honor those so that we can help you guys figure out, we can hone in on exactly what you need to look at in your life, what you possibly need to change or shift, because this is very broad in general. So we can get really honed in and more detailed on it for you to make your life amazing. So that is all. I'm off to the museum. So excited. And I will see you guys in a couple weeks. Thank you. Please be sure to like, subscribe, find me everywhere. Facebook, Instagram. I'm on there and I try to be on there, but I can't be on there too much because then I will, especially Facebook. Sorry, Facebook. Sorry, anybody who's seen my wrath in the last couple weeks. All right, guys, I love you. Bye.